This is CBT News special coverage of the 2023 NADA Show.
Ryan Osten, who's the Executive Vice President of Gubagoo, and also Greg Uland, who is the Vice President of Reynolds and Reynolds. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure, Jim.
Sure. So how's the show going so far?
It's been great. It's been swamped. Actually, between our two booths, we've seen a ton of cross traffic.
Okay.
This year, we actually have DocuPads in the Gubagoo booth, which is something new for us.
Yeah.
Gubagoo got a bigger footprint, and we're really able to demonstrate a lot of the work that's been done in the last really 12 months between the two platforms. It's a lot of fun to show off. Dealers are really excited about it, and it's crazy how much attention it can draw into just even to the Gubagoo booth going, wait, the DocuPad's here? Like, why is the DocuPad at the Gubagoo booth? So then you get to talk about it. It's a lot of fun.
The DocuPad is such an incredible platform, and it really is.
Yeah.
So,
I think traffic's been up well over 50%.
Wow.
And as we move closer and closer to our vision of true e-commerce, one single system, we can really see it starting to come into focus, and it's resonating tremendously.
Sure. What are dealers talking about? If we go back a few years, everybody was so focused on digital retailing, they kind of hit the panic button, and during the early stages of COVID, it was like, we got to get this going, we got to get it going. But the dealers that I've talked to have said, well, it isn't completely there right now, but it certainly needs to be a part of the choices that consumers have. Have you found that to be the case as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. When I look at the evolution of digital retailing, I think of sort of phase one and phase two.
Right.
What you're describing during the pandemic, we were in phase one, which was all about getting them stood up, super lead, right? A customer can calculate payments, trade in, select their F&I, but you couldn't really transact. Now I think that phase is done. We're now in phase two, where we are trying to get to full transactions online and in store. And there's a couple problems that we've tackled that we need to in order to get there. The first is a single calc engine for all payments, right? Lots of dealerships, they have multiple calc engines for their digital retailing. Then they've got their desking, they've got their DMS. They're all using different data and different calculation algorithms. Because of our partnership with Reynolds and being part of the same family, we've been able to move to a single calc engine so that the payment the customer sees online is the same they see in store. There's no backing into a payment that the customer saw online. The second piece is e-contracting. Right. Traditionally, what the customers had to do, they do their payment online, digital retailing. They come in and maybe they're still signing wet signature. They're doing e-sign, which is different from e-contracting. So we've actually implemented integration into Reynolds DMS, CDK DMS in order to complete that e-contracting, so the customer can sign online, sign in store, same experience in store, and funding happens pretty quickly.
That's fantastic. That's a huge part of it, isn't it?
It is. It is. And when you think about what that means, and it's really interesting being at a show like this every time, because you get to hear feedback and you get to see the reaction. So the first time somebody sees something and they go, "Wow." It just it really resonates, because when you think about what it means, that customer, and you mentioned it, dealerships are getting to the point where it's like, okay, digital retailing got to be there. Well, customers aren't all in. And, but to Ryan's point, now the capabilities there to execute on it. But for those customers that want to start online, and they may go through to the credit app, they may go through further than that. But they're going to do some portion online, and then a lot of them are still coming into the store. So to be able to provide the same experience and have a single deal from the first chat interaction to money in the bank, right, from chat to funded, it is really cool. There's no more backing into a deal, right? So you think about desking a deal when somebody gets in, and they're expecting a certain payment. All of a sudden, you got to do math and try to see what your discount has to be.
Another 200 in trade.
Exactly.
Back up the rate. Exactly.
So you got that situation, or you're sitting across from a customer explaining why the payment's $40.37 higher than they thought it was going to be.
Not good.
And then they're not buying anything in F&I, and it's a pain. So
that's right.
That realization when they see, wait, it actually is a single deal, chat to funded, is really cool. It's been exciting to watch.
That's chat to funded. That's a great term. But that's so vitally important now, because people are now, we all are on Amazon, right? And they don't go, well, we know we told you it was going to be $142. It's actually $182.
Right.
You know, the first time that ever happens, forget it. You're canceling, you know, your Amazon subscription, right? I mean, we have to, in this auto industry that we're in, we've got to get up to speed on this, right?
Yeah, I think it comes down to trust.
Yeah.
Is really what you're talking
That's
about,
right.
right? When any point in that customer experience that where, you know, the payment didn't match
Yeah.
or what have you, it's going to erode trust. And what that's going to do is, you know, maybe you get the transaction,
Yeah.
but that customer's not feeling good about your relationship with them, right?
That's right.
And they're not going to come back and service. They're not going to come back, tell their friends about, you know, buying a vehicle.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy a vehicle for their kids. And so the customer lifetime value for that customer
That's right.
is really coming down, right? And that's
fact,
the mindset we need to be in.
They'll take it a step further and they will tell their friends, but it won't be a positive experience.
Yeah.
It'll be, yeah, I went in there and the price was this, and then of course car dealers, they switched it on me, and we've got to somehow start to chip away at that stereotype that car dealers have, don't we? I mean, it's,
Yeah.
and dealers need to, you know, right now figure out a way to get their dealerships into the 21st century with technologies like this, right?
Well, in so many cases, it's not their fault, right?
Yeah.
It's not like anybody's trying to do that.
Right.
It's the tools that they have in place don't allow them to do it any other way.
Yeah,
Right. So
that's right.
Everybody's trying to create a good customer experience. Somebody wakes up in the morning and says, "You know what? I'm going to piss a customer off today." Right. Like,
That's right.
No, that's not the
That's
not
right.
the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to make customers happy and to bring
Yeah.
them back. So. Providing tools that allow them to do that, make that easier,
Sure.
is really important. And again, it's rewarding to see
right.
them have that light bulb moment and have
Yeah.
it go off and go,
In the
"Wow,
auto-
we can really do this."
Industry, and I've been in it a long time. To us, on the, you know, when you're working a deal or you're, you know, on the desk or what have you, to us, when we say the payment's $150 a month and it comes out to $165, we go, well, that is $150 a month, right?
Yeah, it's
But
fuzzy
that
math.
doesn't work today with the consumer. They're like, no, you said it was 150. It needs to be that, you know. And we, you know, scratch our head or get frustrated. Well, come on, 150 is 160. We got to get away from that mentality. I mean, the customer, to your point, has got to trust the number that they get all the way through the process.
Yeah, I mean, and dealerships are in a way starting from behind also because
Yeah.
trust is already so low in many cases from
Yes, it is.
many decades
Yes,
of this
yes.
kind of stuff. And it might not have been intentional. In some cases it was, some cases it wasn't. But
Right.
I mean, the fact is the fact
Right.
is that
We're starting at a minus.
exactly. So we need to be that much better. And especially for franchise dealers too,
know,
right? To
I know.
protect the franchise dealer model, which we
That's right.
strongly believe in the future of, right?
yeah.
And the value there. But we're just trying to help them, enable them to build the best automotive experiences on earth,
Sure.
so they can build that trust.
Interesting you should say that about the franchise dealers. When I talk to some OEM executives, they'll say to me when I say, are you looking to play more of a role? It seems as though in the sales process, that's what the OEMs seem to be moving towards, right? And they'll say, well, somebody has got to enhance that experience. If the dealer is not going to do it, then we have to do it because it's our customer too. So I think this is really a good thing for the industry in the sense that it's lighting kind of a fire under dealers to say, hey, you really got to change the ways of the past and jump into this in a big way. And obviously technologies like this are at the forefront of that, right?
Yeah, I think we all play a part, right? All the players
Right.
play a part.
That's right.
Whether it's us, the OEMs, the dealers, we
Yeah.
need to collaborate to build
Yes.
these experiences. No one party is going to take it over and build that, you know, perfect. It's just not going to work, right?
That's right.
So we need to collaborate. I think from those three parties.
Sure. If we were having this conversation 10 years from now and it's NADA 2033, what percentage of transactions do you think would be done completely online? And then you're just using the showroom as maybe a delivery center?
Wow, that's a tough question to answer because that's a long ways away.
Well, I won't hold you to it, but I
you know,
will be back here in 10 years.
I'll
now.
say my guess, my estimate, 40%.
40%.
Yep.
Okay, that's a big chunk of the business.
It's a big
Right?
jump from today, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you want to take a shot at that number?
Sure, I'd probably be a bit lower. I
Lower?
think, yeah, I think so. I think I've seen stats like overall e-commerce as a percentage of the retail market
Yeah.
is like about 20%, 20
Okay.
to 30%.
Okay.
And so, you know, with vehicles, there's always going to be that element of that test drive.
Yeah.
Not always, right? But like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there's definitely
Sure.
going to be probably. There's definitely going to be a good portion of customers going to buy
Sure.
fully online, right? So if I were to take a stab at it, you know, I'd probably go 20 to 30.
Yeah,
So
okay.
not too far off.
Not too far
Not
off.
too far
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Well, that's
And
about-
neither
that's
one
about
of
double.
none of us
Yeah.
know what the actual number is going to be, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, we don't have a crystal ball, right?
right.
That's
But
right.
I will tell you that obviously that online experience offering that
Yes.
full e-commerce
Yes.
is going to be table stakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have a fully transactional experience online, and the percentage of customers that are going to do some portion of it and come into the store, I mean, that's 95%, right?
And then you also have the opportunity, we're seeing it today, where they start online, they come into the store, they finish online.
Right.
So that's where having that single deal matters too, because you start online and you get to a payment, you submit a credit app, you get approved, you go into the store, you test drive the car, yep, I love it, I got to go pick up my kids, right? Email me those documents, I can sign them at home.
Right.
So being able to do that, especially as we go forward, that flexibility to be able to kind of interact and really retail anywhere, wherever that customer is going to be more and more and more important.
Right. You know, it's funny, the consumers love this whole notion that the dealerships are moving in this direction, right, with technologies like yours. The people that like it equally as much, because I can speak for these because I talk to them every day, are actually the people inside the dealership. Yeah. It's not fun for managers or salespeople or finance managers to give the bad news to the customer. That guess what, we have to start your credit app all over again. I know you did it online, I know you gave us the information, but let's start all over. Better yet, I know we told you it was going to be $342 a month. Guess what? It's $382 a month, okay? And now they're sitting in front of you going, we chose your dealership over another one because we were saving $40, and now you're telling us you're actually more than the others. That's not fun for the staff to do inside of a car dealership. You know what I mean? In fact, when you hear about the high turnover, sometimes it's because of the stress that they're up against at the showroom floor. So, you know, all of the people that work inside of a car dealership want this kind of technology available to them, right?
I mean, we're just making sales easier for them. As far as I see it, we're hand delivering customers and deals. I'd say the other thing that they struggle with, I think, is like a multitude of systems and sticky notes and all of these systems that really don't talk to each other. So that's another challenge that we're hyper-focused on solving to really unify our applications into single interfaces, so they are cognitive load in the dealership, and the mismatch of data and all this stuff is minimized, so they can get their job done easier, they can have a better day, less stress, better customer experience, all those things.
That's right. I'll give you the last word, Greg, here. What's your forecast for the year, since you've got that crystal ball in front of you? Do you think we're going to have a good year in retail automotive? There are some headwinds out there, keep in mind, and dealers are a little bit nervous, which means they've got to run a much more efficient dealership. But you think it'll be another good year?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways to measure it, right? So it depends on probably which metric you're looking at, but I think overall it will be a positive year for dealers. I think dealers' ability to create value for the consumer and for the manufacturer and to be able to serve both parties really effectively is something that they've done forever, right? And no matter what the headwinds are in front of that group, they do such a great job delivering and creating that value. I can't see a way that it's not going to be another great year for dealers.
I agree. Ryan Osten, Executive Vice President of Gubagoo, and Greg Uland, Vice President of Reynolds and Reynolds. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for watching our special coverage of the 2023 NADA Show. Join the #1 most watched newscast in the automotive industry. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today.